This is the only paid ad strategy that you'll need for Facebook and Instagram in 2023 moving into 2024. Running paid advertising for your e-commerce brand is arguably one of the hardest aspects of building a business. So I'm here to help. And in this video, I'm going to be walking you through my exact strategy that I've been using in 2023 and will be using moving forward into 2024. This ad strategy works with every single budget level. You could be running $3 AdSense a day or all the way up to thousands of dollars a day in ad spend. And after walking through everything step by step, I'll pull up some ad creatives that I've been running and we'll walk through the metrics on some things that you should be looking for and what to watch out for. Hold on, before we get right into the video, I want to tell you about a Shopify offer that I have for you. If you're brand new to Shopify and you're looking to start a store for just $1 per month for the first 3 months, I partnered with Shopify and they provide this discount code for you guys. So instead of spending over $100 for 3 months of Shopify, you'll only spend $3. And if you want to take advantage of this, I'll have a link down below in the description. All right, now let's get right into the video. In regards to the overall strategy, it's better on Facebook and Instagram now to go broader in the audiences. After iOS 14.5 and all the privacy updates that have been happening, it's making it a lot harder to attribute your data correctly. And what I mean by this is if you're running an ad campaign and someone makes a purchase on your website, it's not going to always be tracked back to that ad campaign. Whereas before iOS 14.5, it was pretty much tracking at 90% accuracy plus. So in my opinion, we're essentially paying Facebook to rebuild their algorithm, but it's going to get better and better year over year. And pretty soon it's not going to be much of an ad strategy. You're really just going to plug in your ad creatives and then you're going to be good to go. But for now, there's definitely a little bit of strategy involved. On the Facebook platform, you can go in and add interest targeting, which I'll show you later, where you can pick specific interests that you want to target, such as like Urban Outfitters, Zara, something like that. And now what I mean by going broad mainly is not having any of those interests actually selected. This is going to allow your audience size to grow a lot in size. It's going to be hundreds of millions, but Facebook really wants us to rely on the algorithm to actually find these audiences for you. And going broad has actually worked a lot better lately. I've been running broad campaigns since 2022 and they're still working out really, really well. And the more information that you collect via your pixel, which I'll be explaining in this video, the more fine-tuned it's going to be, and it's actually going to find your audiences a lot quicker and it's going to be a lot more profitable. Now, with the audiences still being broad, we do want to test variables, but the main variables that we're going to be testing instead of interest targeting is going to be marketing angles, ad creatives, and ad copy. Marketing angles are essentially the way that you're conveying the advertisement to your customer. For example, let's talk about a beauty fridge for your skincare products. All that the refrigerator is just that. It's a refrigerator, but the marketing angle and twist on it is that it's for your skincare products. It's in a compact size that you can put on your counter. And the purpose of it is to chill your skincare. That's the marketing angle for that specific product. And they are very, very important to focus on in 2023, 2024. Now, when you're adjusting your marketing angles and your ad creatives to fit those marketing angles, it's going to allow Facebook to identify that and actually start pushing it to the right audience. So if you're advertising a skincare refrigerator, it's not going to be shown to people that are looking for the at-home refrigerator normal size. So if you have multiple marketing angles, it'll actually appeal to completely separate audiences. And that's why it's really important to test multiple marketing angles, because you don't really know exactly what's going to resonate with the audience, and it's actually going to help you find those audiences that resonate with your product the most. Because you might think you have the best marketing angle of the product from your own personal preference, but that's not always the case. You really have to cater to the audience. I did want to cover that quickly because I think that's really important to learn about, especially if you're running paid traffic. But now I'm going to walk through everything that you need to know step by step on how to set up your Facebook ads. Okay, so now we're in the back end of the Facebook ad platform. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with this. This is where you're going to be creating and running and monitoring all of your ad campaigns. Really quickly, there are 3 different sections to your campaign. There's a campaign level at the top left, in the middle is the ad set level, and then the ad creative level. It's important to know, but I'll be covering all of this going through it right now. So the first thing you want to do for this strategy is hit create at the top left here. Now, these are the options that you can select for your campaign objective. There's sales, leads, engagement, app promotion, traffic, and awareness. And if you're selling a digital product, a physical product, but in the e-commerce realm or niche, or you're drop shipping, you're always going to choose sales. Despite what anyone else tells you, sales is the best. And why it is because sales are good for conversions, catalog sales, Messenger, Instagram, WhatsApp, and calls, right? So you want to have sales as the objective because this is what Facebook is going to focus on when looking for your customers. You don't want to choose engagement as the objective and tell Facebook to go find people that are just going to look at your stuff but not make any purchases. Sales is optimized for purchases, which is exactly what we want in e-commerce. So when creating a campaign, just hit sales. You don't have to change the buying type. Auction is fine. And then you're gonna go ahead and hit continue. Now you're setting up your ad campaign level here. You can name this whatever you want. I recommend keeping it nice and clean. So if you're selling a product like Jade Roller, Let's do shade roller, campaign, and then any specific information that you need. Maybe you're targeting the US only, you could just add that in here. Whatever you need to do here to identify it, so when you're looking at your metrics later on after you've ran the ads, you know exactly how the ad campaign is set up. Special ad categories you do not have to do unless you are declaring something that like you're advertising for credit cards, employment, housing, social issues, election, or politics, which I'm assuming none of you guys are advertising for. Now for the campaign details, there is the auction type, which we already selected, sales campaign objective. The catalog option is where it'll actually take your Shopify catalog and use that as the advertisements and the objective of the campaign. I don't like to do this. I like to run them manually because I'm testing products individually. So we'll leave that one off. A/B test we can also leave off. Advanced campaign budget, we're also gonna leave off. What it does is it'll actually take your overall budget for the campaign and distribute it somewhat equally among the ad sets and the ad creatives. When you turn this on, you'll no longer have an option to add a budget to the ad set level. It'll just be at the campaign level. I don't like to do this, especially when testing products, because I want each ad set and ad creatives underneath that ad set to give a fair test and spend the amount of money that I want them to. I don't wanna let Facebook decide where to spend my money. I wanna test it efficiently and fair. So there's not really much you have to change on the campaign level, so you'll just go ahead and hit next. Now at the ad set level, this is where you're gonna do all the targeting and everything. You can also name this something like whatever targeting you're doing. You can do something like 18 plus, US, female, if you're targeting people that are 18 plus from the United States, and female, obviously. Whatever, just to keep it nice and organized. Now for the conversion location, you do want to do website. This is because you want to maximize the number of the objectives for purchase for your website. Now there's a new option that Facebook is kind of promoting a little bit, which is website and shop. So Facebook will decide either to show your website link or a shop link that's built into Facebook and Instagram. This is a newer thing that you can do. I don't necessarily like to do it because on the Instagram shop and the Facebook shop, there's no upsells available. So I like to send them directly to the website. Plus, if you have a really good looking website and you're sending traffic there, people are probably more likely gonna convert on that website because it looks like a real website. People wanna check it out first. If they just see a random ad on Instagram, they're not gonna hop on really fast and purchase with their credit card. They don't really trust it. They wanna look at your website. So I like to do website. In my experience, it converts a lot better. Now under the performance goal, you wanna maximize the number of conversions. Your pixel, this is the name of my pixel, you plug it in here. If you don't know how to set up your pixel, all you do is go into your Shopify account, go into apps, add Facebook as an app, go into the settings for data, click pixel setup, and it'll walk you through it step by step. Super easy to do. It'll be linked to your Facebook account and it's gonna track all of your data. Pixels are very important to set up because that's how it's actually gonna attribute back to that campaign, which you can use later on to look at the metrics. So make sure to do that first. For conversion event, you pick one here and it's the one that's gonna be optimized or prioritized when tracking. So we're gonna do purchase. Cost per result goal is optional. I don't think you should do it. It's never really worked well for me. But if you're curious, let's just say your break-even point is $5. You would put in $5 here and it would try to give Facebook an idea of how much money you wanna spend per purchase. A lot of the times it actually just ends up not spending any of the money for the day, so it doesn't really help. You can click on show more options here with your attribution settings. 7-day click, 1-day view is good. When you get charged impression, you can't even edit this, so it doesn't really matter. Then you're gonna scroll down to your budget and schedule. This strategy works with any budget amount. You can do $1, you can do $3, you can do $50 a day, $100 a day, it doesn't really matter. The amount of budget that you're spending per day just directly correlates how fast you're gonna get your data. And you wanna do a fair test on your product. And what I mean by a fair test is that you wanna spend 3 to 5 times your average order value. So if you're selling a product for $10, you wanna spend at least $30 to $50 on that specific marketing angle and advertisement to deem that the advertisement is working or not working. If you spend $5 on it and you don't get a sale, you can't really rule it out as something that's not working. There's just not enough data that you collected. So it works with any budget, it doesn't really matter. It's just gonna take longer to get to that point. So it's up to you on what you're comfortable spending per day. We're gonna keep it simple and just leave it at $25 a day in daily budget. The start date is July 4th. The start date is when you want the campaign to start running. We're gonna leave it the same day. It'll start immediately or whenever it gets approved. You don't really wanna set an end date unless you wanna hit a specific budget, but you should just be checking it daily anyway. Now for the audience, this is where we're actually gonna do the least amount of interest targeting. This is what I was talking about before with going broad. Locations, just to make it simple, we'll leave it at the United States. But you can go in here and add a bunch of different ones if you want to sell it to people in Canada, United Kingdom, Australia, and New Zealand. The United States and the 4 others that I mentioned are like the top 5 for e-commerce with the highest conversion rates. So if you're gonna go a little bit broader than the US, I would recommend selling to those other 4. Then you come down here to the age section. This is totally product dependent. If you are selling a product that appeals to 16-year-olds, then you're gonna lower this down to 16. But if it's a product that you think would sell from 18 to 30, then I'll just leave it at 18 plus. But something to keep in mind is that if you drop below the age of 18 now on Facebook, you can't really do any other interest targeting. So you can't add any interests if you wanted to. You can't change the gender targeting. There's just a lot more limitations. So 18 plus is always a good bet. We're gonna leave all genders as well. This is where you can edit it and choose men, women, or all. Detailed targeting is where you would normally put in your interests. You could type in Urban Outfitters if you wanted to, and then it would add that as people that are specifically interested in Urban Outfitters. Now what's interesting and actually backs up my strategy for going more broad is that Facebook has actually been removing a lot of interests. They used to have a ton of interests back in 2018, and they've been slowly removing them, so actually just pushing us to only be able to go broad. So for this strategy, you're not gonna have any interest. You wanna do cold targets, and you wanna let your marketing angles and creatives do all the targeting for you, plus the help of Facebook's algorithm. We're gonna leave that open, and same with exclusions. You can go in here if you wanted to and exclude things like people that are interested in drop shipping. They don't even have drop shipping anymore. They already removed it, but you could exclude anything that you want. So for some reason, if you don't want people that are interested in cars to look at your product for some reason, you can put that in there. All languages, I would leave them open. So it doesn't really matter if you're specifically targeting a language. Just make sure that if you are advertising in a different country that does not speak English, you would probably want to cater that advertisement to their native language. Now for placements, this refers to where your advertisement is actually shown on the platform. So whether it's on Facebook and Instagram, you can obviously see advertisements on Reels, Stories, Facebook feed, Instagram feed, Explore, etc. And if you want to, you can go in here and manually change these. You can say, I only want to show my ads on Facebook feed. So you can uncheck everything else and just leave Facebook feed. It does increase the cost to advertise if you do this. If you specifically want to for some reason, you can. But I really recommend for this strategy, you're going to Advantage Plus placements, which is recommended by Facebook as well, and that lets them decide where to put these advertisements. And most of the time they either end up on Stories, Reels, Feed. So nothing like too special or fancy there. Gonna go ahead and hit next now, and then it's gonna bring us to the ad creative level. This is where you're gonna add the ad creative, the copy, and essentially like beef up your marketing angle and then link your website and where it's actually gonna lead post-click. So the first things that you need to do on the ad creative level are gonna be the Facebook page, which you add here, and then your Instagram account. I don't have one linked to this one, but you'll link it here. So when it's shown on Facebook, they can click on that profile and it'll go to your Facebook profile. And then on Instagram, if they see an ad on Stories or something and they click on your profile, it'll go to your Instagram account. This is actually really, really good because if you're spending money on advertisements, a lot of them will actually click on there and follow your account organically or semi-organically. You're kind of paying for it, but it's a great way to get followers, and it's really good for your business to show that you actually have an Instagram account and a Facebook presence. Now we're gonna go down to the ad setup, which is where more of the strategy a little bit comes in and some tips and tricks that I've learned along the way. Advantage Plus for creative catalog. I don't like to do this because I like to test a single product at a time, so I'm actually gonna turn this one off. And now it populates with the formats that you can choose from. You can do a single image or video, you can do a carousel or a collection. So starting in 2021 maybe, I can't even remember, but I started doing a lot of carousel ads. I had a meeting with my Facebook marketing expert and he told me that carousel ads are gonna be taking off. It's gonna be a lot cheaper and a lot cheaper cost per purchase. So I started using them and they do really work well. And I really recommend using it for this strategy as well, especially going broad. And what a carousel ad is compared to a single image or video is just 2 or more scrollable images or videos, which allows you to test different backgrounds of your image or your video, different hooks, different marketing angles, all of that. So what you do is if I was running a carousel ad for this jade roller, I would have a single picture of the jade roller, I'd have the jade roller in use, and then maybe a jade roller with the box and logo of my brand. Those would be the 3 images or videos for the carousel. And what's great about the carousel as well is that Facebook actually identifies which one is resonating with the audience the most, and it starts putting that one first. So if you see a sponsored ad on Stories and it's a carousel and it's multiple images that you have to click through, the first one that they see will eventually be the best performing one after Facebook gets all of this data to back that up. It's a great way to test and see which ones are performing the best, which background color or which image in general is working the best, and catching the audience's attention. And not a lot of people are running carousel ads, not a lot of people are talking about it, but I can tell you that they're getting really cheap cost per purchase, really cheap CPMs, which I'll actually show you after this. And it's definitely something that you want to try, especially with this strategy. And another quick thing is image ads have been crushing it lately. They're extremely cheap to advertise and they get a really low cost per purchase. And I know everyone talks about running video ads. You have to go outsource some video ads that are fantastic. You don't really have to do that. You can test products very quickly with image ads, see if it resonates with the audience. And then if it does and you start to make some sales, then you can start implementing some video ads to supplement or complement, I should say, some of your image ads. But image ads are doing really well right now. It's something not to rule out. With that being said, we're gonna leave it at carousel, and then we're gonna do manually choose images. Otherwise, it's just gonna pull them from a Shopify catalog, which you don't wanna do. You wanna upload your manual images yourself because those are the ad creatives that you actually made outside Shopify and on the back end that you're gonna use to advertise. Now for a carousel, you have to have at least 2 cards, which is 2 images or videos. So we're gonna add 2 image cards here. Let's just do this one as the wallet there. We're gonna add 1 more. Let's do a side angle of it here. Now you can see that there are 2 image cards added here. The headline, you're gonna wanna add something here like whatever the title is of the product. So this is the Shoots wallet. And then you're gonna add the website URL here. So if they click on that specific carousel card, it'll take them to the product page. I'm just making this up right here. Now you're gonna do the exact same thing for the second card. And you can see on the right side here, it's an ad preview. It starts populating. So this is how it'll actually look on Facebook feeds. It's a scrollable image, so you can see multiple of the images in the carousel working here. Now you've got the option to build a URL parameter, which I really recommend you do. This is basically UTM parameters. So what I was talking about earlier with the privacy update, you can't really track and attribute your ads too well anymore. It's really like 50% of the time it actually like counts as a sale if you've actually made a sale. So if you get like 10 sales on your website, but your Facebook campaign is only showing that you got 3, that's exactly why. It's because of the privacy. But what you can do to actually get around this and kind of manually view that is you can build a URL parameter. What these parameters are is basically just strings of text at the end of links. So for here, you can add the campaign source, which I like to do for the site source name, campaign medium, campaign ID, campaign name, I'll do campaign name, campaign content, I usually do the ad name. And so what this does, it'll actually add these lines of text at the end of this link. So when someone clicks on it, you know exactly what carousel card they clicked on and you know exactly what ad creative it came from. It's gonna say Jade Roller campaign US only. It's gonna show up at the campaign medium and you're gonna see that in the URL, which you can then look later on your Shopify on which URL they landed on, then you can attribute it correctly. This is what the URL looks like. This is not what the customer sees, but this is just for your backend data. You're gonna go ahead and hit apply, and you'll do the exact same thing for the top one up here, build the same parameter. Now scrolling down to the primary text, this is where you're gonna have your ad creative copy. Okay, I'm just gonna plug this into Dropbotai really quickly to come up with a good ad copy. So I plugged in the card pop-up wallet and then spring-loaded wallet that pops up your cards with the click of a button, just some additional information for it to take in. Okay, then spit out the ad copy ideas. I just use Dropbot for pretty much all my ideation for brand building. Let's just take number 1 for the sake of the example. Also, if you want to use Dropbot, I'll have a link down below in the description. Now we're just going to plug it in here to the primary text, and it's going to show up right on the right side here for the ad preview. Tired of bulky wallets, upgrade to your modern card. Blah, 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 right? So that's your ad copy. This is really important, especially if you're running a specific marketing angle. You really want your ad copy to match that marketing angle. You really want your ad copy to match your marketing angle and enhance it. It's gonna lead to a lot more clicks and Facebook's gonna analyze the text and actually show it to the correct people. Now for your call to action, I always recommend using Shop Now. This is basically just the title of the button. So when they click and they wanna learn more or purchase your item, they're gonna see Shop Now here. Now you're gonna have to put in the link to your website again or your landing page. To explain that a little bit further, when they click on Shop Now, it'll be this destination. And then if they click specifically on the card or the image of the card, it'll be whatever URL is linked to that image. So if you're selling jewelry or something and you've got 4 different pieces of jewelry in your carousel, if they click on a specific carousel card, it'll take them to that URL and that specific piece of jewelry. But if they just hit Shop Now, it'll take them to like your storefront or the sale collection or whatever. And we're gonna do the exact same thing in building a URL parameter with the Shop Now button because it's important to track as well. Now we've got that URL parameter built and it's gonna track correctly on the back end of Shopify. You wanna make sure that your tracking is set up. This just means that your pixel is actually linked. This one says it's active still. Don't know how it is, but it says it is. And then you're pretty much good to go from there. That's how you're gonna fully set up and walk through all of your campaign, ad set, and ad creative level. Now what I recommend doing strategy-wise, if we've got the Shoots wallet example as the product that we're selling, what we wanna do is duplicate this 2 times. And what that's gonna do is copy everything from the campaign level, it's gonna copy everything from the ad set level, and then there's gonna be 3 ad creatives under that ad set. Now what you're gonna do with these copies is that you're actually gonna change the marketing angles for these copies, right? So if we're selling this wallet here that pops up with the cards, we want 3 different ad creatives listed here. We want 3 different videos maybe for your carousel, 3 different marketing angles to complement them and test them against each other. Now, for example, if the video that we created for this specific ad creative was towards businessmen and losing their wallet or they want a sleeker wallet, the angle of that video would be men's sleek wallet, maybe business. That's one marketing angle. These wallets are also RFID blocking, so you'd want to create another marketing angle and a new ad creative showing the capabilities of the RFID blocking so people don't steal your credit card information with like one of those swipers or whatever. And the last creative / marketing angle will be bulky wallets. You don't want to carry around these fat wallets anymore. You want something sleek. So here's the overview of the strategy. You're gonna have one campaign, one ad set level with a specific budget and targeting, and 3 ad creatives located underneath it. And those 3 ad creatives are gonna have 3 different marketing angles. One's men's business sleek wallets, one's RFID blocking focused, and the other one is no more bulky wallets. Now what's gonna happen is, since we have the ad budget level at $25 a day, Facebook is gonna take those $25 and spend it how it sees fit between the 3 different ad creatives. And they'll quickly identify, let's just say men's sleek business wallet is actually performing a lot better. There's way more clicks. The CPMs are a lot lower on it. If it's just overall looking better and more engagement for that marketing angle, Facebook is gonna be spending like $15 on that one, and then 5 on the RFID and 5 on the bulky wallets. It's gonna be some sort of mixture of that, or it might be spread evenly across if they're all hard-hitting marketing angles. But the beauty of this strategy is that you're testing multiple different marketing angles and allowing Facebook to decide and the audience to decide which one it resonates with the most. And again, you're gonna wanna run this for a few days to have Facebook collect all of this data so that you can look at it in the back end. Now I'm gonna show you an example of a couple of campaigns that I ran so we can look into the metrics together and what they mean to me and what you should be looking for to analyze them as you're spending money on these ads. Now let me break down some of the ads that I've ran using this strategy. So you can see here I sorted it by the amount spent, and then the cost per results are located here. So pretty good cost per acquisition. Looks like some low is $3.57, so super cheap. The ad strategy of going very broad works really well. You can also see here that the CPMs, or the cost per 1,000 impressions, if you don't know what that is, it's the cost of every 1,000 times that your ad is shown and someone sees it. And this can actually be more than once. It's not 1,000 new people. If your frequency is really high, that number represents the impressions per person, right? So someone could have seen it twice, and then the other 998 would be people that saw it once. So your frequency would be really low. Average CPMs depend on your industry, what your ad creatives look like, what quality they are, if people are interacting and engaging with it. So these are really low CPMs, are really good. Cost per link click is how much it costs to get someone to click on the link and actually go onto your website. These ones are pretty low, not too bad, about 50 cents total here. And it looks like the average CPMs at the bottom here are $3.85. Click-through rate is super low. Click-through rate is the percentage of times people saw your ad and performed a link click, right? So it's impressions divided by link clicks, essentially. So you can see here that the cost per results for these strategies are actually really good. So this strategy does work, and it works really well. Now, people ask me all the time, what do you actually look for when getting your metrics back? Like, obviously you want to receive some sales, right, from your advertisements. But that's not always the case. You're not always going to get sales right off the bat, especially if it's a brand new store, brand new dropshipping product, or whatever it is that you're launching for your ads. Now, important metrics that you want to keep your eyes on and what I look for when running ads would be your CPMs. Again, CPMs are going to differ based on your niche, right? If you're selling something very specific and it's, you know, a fly fishing rod is always a good example that I use, that's only going to resonate with a certain amount of people. So your CPMs are probably going to be a lot higher. Naturally, you want your CPMs to be lower because it's cheaper to advertise, but that's not always beneficial, right? So if you're fly fishing and it costs $50 for your CPMs, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means your niche is really specific. But it is something to keep in mind and keep track of, whether it fluctuates or not over the days. Cost per link click is also very important. Again, in theory, you want all of your metrics to be essentially as low as possible besides your click-through rate. You want your cost per link click to be as cheap as possible. You want people to click onto your website for a penny, but it doesn't matter if your website's not converting, your product's not converting, and your marketing angle isn't strong enough. So if you are selling this fly fishing rod and your CPMs are $50, you're like, this is really high, and your cost per link click is, let's say, $2, and you're like, that's really high. But if your conversion rate is 10%, people love the product, and you really hit the right audience and the right marketing angle, it doesn't matter. The CPMs and the cost per link click go out the window. As long as you are profitable, that's all that you need to be looking for. You need to establish your break-even ROAS. You need to see what you need to be able to hit. And the point of this strategy is just to be able to test as many creatives and marketing angles as much as possible. So don't get too fixated on the cost per link click, CPMs, all that stuff. You just have to figure out what works for you and your product. Now let's say you're selling a product for $15 and you're seeing that you're getting a $4 cost per purchase here, and you're profitable. Let's say you're making $5 per sale at this price point. Now to scale these ads, there are 2 different ways to do it. You can either directly go over to the campaign and click duplicate. It'll actually just duplicate every single thing and make a copy of it. Same budget, everything, and it'll essentially double your budget, and it'll start running immediately or the next day if you want it to. That's the way that I like to scale my campaigns. It's really worked well for me. Another way to scale them up, let's just say you're spending $25 a day in that ad spend and it's profitable, so you want to increase the budget, right, to get more sales and more profit. You can go directly into that campaign that's running. You can click edit on the ad set level and increase that budget from $25 $25 to $30. Now, if you're gonna do that, I don't recommend increasing it by 20% day over day. This can trigger a reset on your ad campaign in the algorithm, and it can essentially tell Facebook to start over and start looking for that audience again. So if you're gonna do it that way, which I don't really recommend, it works for some people, it doesn't work for everyone. I don't like doing it that way, but if you're going to, keep your budget increase under 20%. Now that's the ad strategy I've been running all through 2023, gonna be moving it into 2024. If there's any other updates that come out, if Facebook changes a bunch of stuff, or this ad strategy just stops working, I'll make a new updated video, which you'll find on my page. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. I hope it was a great walkthrough for you beginners out there looking to run Facebook and Instagram campaigns. Facebook and Instagram are still the best, in my opinion, for advertising, especially on the paid front. So don't sleep on it. Don't go directly into TikTok necessarily unless your product fits it. Facebook and Instagram are still really, really great to advertise on. They have a lot of great data and tools to use. Again, hope this video is helpful. If you guys like this, please leave a like, leave a comment down below on what video you want to see next, and then always remember to hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.